Hi and welcome. Thanks very much for watching the video. We've just completed our round of meetings here in Canberra. Had a very busy few days this week with a number of functions on. First of all, happy National Forestry Plantation Day. Today we've put out a press release to celebrate the annual beginning of the planting season for forests. There's been some we estimate some 70 million seedlings will be replanted in our plantation forests. That's more than 2 trees for every living Australian. It covers about 70,000 hectares of re-establishment and produces enough timber from those crops to build about 60,000 houses per year. So it's a really significant day, and we want to make sure that the public and political masters know how big a commitment we're making to the future of the country. We've had an excellent attendance at our meetings. We've had a very good dinner last evening where we had Andrew Metcalfe from Ernst & Young come and talk to us. Andrew has been involved in the senior levels of the bureaucracy in Canberra for many, many years and left and has been working for Ernst & Young for the last few years, leading the government practice in the Ernst & Young organisation. Andrew was a former Secretary of the Department of Agriculture and talked to us last night about our journey towards a white paper for forestry, which is one of our goals at this stage. We also had Bernadette Cording come and talk to us about, who works for AFPA. She came and spoke to us about social media, and the board yesterday approved additional funding for a position and resources to improve our social media presence and to better utilise what is can be a very efficient way of communicating messages to our people who are interested in our friends. We've had the member forums, and we've had some really interesting speakers today. We've had, first off, we had Peter Roberts from DFAT, who's been charged with negotiating the Indonesian Free Trade Agreement for Australia. And he talked to us about the structure of that deal and the sort of considerations that are being made. If anybody has any queries on this, please contact Ross Hampton. He can steer you in the right direction. We also had Dale Seymour come and talk to us, and Dale is the Anti-Dumping Commissioner from the Anti-Dumping organisation. And Dale spoke to us about the process for getting an anti-dumping case up, which was really interesting, and certainly Australian paper have recently had some success in having anti-dumping countervailing duties put in place against imported paper that has been deemed to have been dumped in Australia. And the third speaker we had was Michael Burke from Queensland, and he's in charge of Futures Queensland. The Queensland government's put in place a really interesting initiative where they put $20 million of funding into looking at how we might better develop our bioenergy, biorecycling possibilities within the Queensland economy, and we think this is something that may well have currency around all of Australia if they're successful in getting their programs developed. That was very interesting. Our member forums went very well. The usual 4 chambers meetings all were conducted, and things are in good shape. At our board meeting, the financial year 17 budget was discussed, and that's on track, and looks like we'll deliver the surplus slightly in line or maybe slightly better than what we'd forecast. We also approved the financial year 18 budget, and that also will run at a surplus, and embedded in that is additional resources for social media that I mentioned before, but also a small increase in fees around about the CPI of about 2%. So I'm sure you'll be getting your invoices from the AFPA office in the near future. We also bid farewell to two people who have made significant contributions to industry. First of all, I'd like to pay tribute to Ron Adams, and Ron has been involved in the industry for in excess of 40 years, has held a number of really important industry positions, including being a director of AFPA for a substantial period of time, before that NAFI and involvement with A3P, but also, most importantly, as the chairman of FWPA, where Ron served a number of years in that position. Ron's been really active in the state-based industry associations in FIFWA, serving as a chairman there and on the board for some time. So Ron has decided to retire, and we wish him well in his retirement. Ron is a person of great integrity and capacity, and we wish him well. The other person who's retiring is Carl Kenny from the Hancock organisation, and Carl been actively involved in industry affairs for some time in his positions with Hancock, which now stretch to some 10 years in time. Just a reminder, before I close, of the dinner we're having in the Great Hall. The date of that is the 12th of September this year. We need 500 to 600 people to fill the hall. I urge you to get involved, to come along, for your company to get a table. It'll promises to be a really great night. It usually has a very broad range of politicians there, including a number of cabinet ministers and opposition shadow ministers, as well as local members, and hopefully we'll have the Prime Minister again, as we have had the last 2 times that we've run this function. Thank you very much for watching, and talk to you again soon. Thank you.